Welcome to our 360-degree tour of our exercise and sports science teaching facilities here at Deakin University. My name is Brad Aisbett and I'm the Deputy Head of the School of Exercise and Nutrition Sciences here at Deakin. We're number 1 in Australia and number 3 in the world for sports science, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of our dedicated exercise and sports science teaching facilities. That's right, teaching facilities. They're not available to other students here at Deakin who aren't studying exercise and sports science students, and they're not available to the general public. This is where you, as a member of our student body, will learn exercise and sports science skills. Have a look at the space behind me. This is 4 stories of exercise and sports science teaching and learning spaces. Come with me, let's have a look around. Welcome to our Biomechanics Laboratory. In this space, our students learn to evaluate and to measure human motion and movement. Let's look around. In this space, they can hit balls to each other, kick footballs, have them land against the nets, but most importantly, collect movement data from these overhead cameras, and then learn how to analyse that movement and then provide it to coaches and athletes in a way they can understand. We can also measure the impact using embedded force plates of what it's like for your ankles, your hips and your knees when you land from a rebound or a mark. Or the impact that happens during a sprinting stride. In this space, our students can use this 40-metre dedicated running track to sprint up and down and measure the impact. In every space, our students will work in small groups so that they can experience being the athlete or the client and the coach or the scientist to perform the action, measure it, and then communicate the results. But biomechanics is more than just about sports. It's also about living healthily in everyday life. So let's have a look at this treadmill. In this in-ground treadmill, it's got independent belts and a harness so that you can unweight the client, measure the forces going through their left and their right side of their body as they walk, and measure their stride frequency and stride length. All important pieces of information for coaches, for athletes, but also for other exercise professionals to help people regain their walking gait so they can have high quality of life and negotiate their everyday environment. This space, as a student, is dedicated for exercise and sports science learning. So you'll be in here in small groups, doing hands-on skills, readying you for the jobs that you want after you graduate. Welcome to our Motor Control and Learning Laboratory. In this space, our students learn about how people learn skills, how they acquire skills as simple as finger tapping, all the way up through to complex skills like dribbling a hockey ball or passing to an open forward on a netball court. We use these projectors and a reinforced dedicated wall to be able to simulate real skills. So in this drill, we'd have a student throwing to the open player and choosing the right option, and having our students providing the right cues so that they can make the right decisions. We also have target throwing, so we can give proper instructions and shape practice so that students can coach people to develop skills appropriately of all ages. And in this space, we also have athletes come in and learn these skills so that through practicum and work integrated learning, our students get to work with real athletes so they can practice their skills and get ready for the jobs that they seek when they graduate. Welcome to our exercise prescription laboratory. In this space, you as a student will learn how to perform the exercise training techniques, but also coach those techniques for people learning exercise for health, wellbeing and fitness, but also for high performance sport. Let's look around. As you can see, this is a fully fitted out, high-end commercial health and fitness centre equipment space, so that you as a student can learn how to work with a client that's using exercise to maintain wellbeing and lifelong health and fitness. But it's also a high-performance space where you'll be able to coach and learn complex movements like the power clean, the snatch, the clean and jerk on dedicated Olympic lifting platforms that allow you and your client to drop the weights as you learn without fear of injury or damage to the laboratory. Exercise prescription, though, is more than just about resistance training. So in this all-weather environment, which we can use when the weather outside isn't so nice, you can train individuals or groups to use these running lanes for high-intensity interval trainings to get cardiorespiratory as well as speed and power fitness gains. And we can use our bank of rowing ergometers, elliptical trainers, treadmills and spin bikes to simulate group training for either health and fitness or high performance sport. So as a student here, you'll actually learn how to prescribe exercise for a whole group as well as the individual. This is your learning space. This is not a gym that's available to other members of Deakin or to members of the general public. It's for you to be in this classroom and learn. And to learn, not just for your life outside of Deakin, but also for your volunteer hours when you're studying here in exercise and sport science. Our exercise and sport science undergraduate degrees actually have the most volunteer hours of any degree in the sector. So you'll be doing up to 220 hours of exercise prescription, training, coaching and evaluation in the real world with real clients, making sure that you're job ready for the careers that you want after graduation. Welcome to one of two climate chambers we have here at Deakin University. In these spaces, students learn how to understand how the human body responds to different temperatures, different levels of humidity and different altitudes when they exercise. And they also learn how to prescribe acclimation protocols so that they can help give coaches and athletes the advice they need to prepare for competing in a different environment. Think about the Australian athlete that has to leave our winter and go and compete in a Northern Hemisphere summer, or lives at sea level and has to compete at high altitude. To help learn those skills, our climate chambers can go up to 45 degrees Celsius, 100% humidity, and the equivalent of 5,000 metres high altitude. And in this space, we can have a number of students or athletes exercising on cycloergometers, and as students, not only experiencing what that's like, but also acting as the sports scientist and sitting outside the climate chamber, watching in, taking measurements, collecting sweat, collecting heart rate, and providing advice to the athletes just as you would in the real world. Welcome to our Deakin Clinical Exercise Centre. In this space, our Masters of Clinical Exercise Physiology students work with members of the general public from day one, learning how to help them benefit from exercise, even if they're living with chronic conditions like diabetes or cancer, or returning from major injury or trauma. In this space, our Masters students work with specialty equipment to help those people who don't have full function to still get the benefits of exercise. That equipment might include treadmills fitted with overhead gantry so they can unweight the person so that their lower limbs are not taking all the impact and force, but they're still getting the benefits of exercise. Or for the more advanced clients, being fitted with this dynamic balance support so that they can challenge their movement like they would in everyday unpredictable environments. Or, if they're coming back from sport injuries, landing from jumping, hopping, and challenging their ankles, their hips and their knees to cope with the impact, but in a safe way. This dedicated space, which is a real working clinic, also has reaction time tasks to challenge people's ability to deal with multiple stimuli, like they would if they were crossing a busy street, walking a dog, or being in a busy environment, so that challenge their balance and allows them to walk safely. This dedicated teaching facility also has walking spaces so that we can allow our clients to progress their 6-minute walk challenge, a standard clinical test, but also get our students to practice those clinical skills so that when they graduate here as clinical exercise physiologists, not only are they accredited with Exercise and Sports Science Australia, they're ready to go and work in our Australian public health and private health systems. In fact, clinical exercise physiology is one of Australia's fastest growing allied health professions. Welcome to our exercise physiology, integrated physiology and functional anatomy spaces. In these spaces, our students learn how the body responds to exercise, to different dietary challenges before exercise, and learns about the musculoskeletal structures that underpin our movement that we've seen in biomechanics and strength and conditioning. Have a look around. In these spaces, groups of 4 students will be using these metabolic carts to work with a client. And our students get to learn how to be the client and exercise at either submaximal or maximal intensities, but also to be the exercise scientist, measuring their expired air, taking heart rate or temperature samples, or measuring sweat rate. We also get to take blood samples. And that might be measuring blood lactate during exercise, or it might be measuring glucose or triglycerides or cholesterol markers of health, so that we get an integrated understanding of the human body and how it responds at rest and during exercise. All of these laboratories allow our students to work in really small groups, 4 and 5, so that every student gets a hands-on learning experience. And so then they get assessed on their actual real-world skills, so they can leave our degrees feeling confident and job ready for the careers that they desire. So thanks for joining me on this 360-degree tour of our exercise and sports science teaching facilities here at Deakin. If at any time you wanted to go back, look at those spaces, take the video back, pause, take a good look around, and for deeper understanding, click on any of the videos on this page where we have members of our exercise and sports science staff or our graduates showing you skills that you'll learn while studying here at Deakin. I hope you've enjoyed it.